A white kangaroo covered in millions of ticks and parasites was rescued by a brave rescue team. A thick blanket of snow covered a vast region. A solitary kangaroo labored to hop across the snowy ground. Its gaunt body was covered in a multitude of parasites and firmly attached larvae. Across its skin, patches of parasites stretched from its head down its back, extending all the way to its legs. Wounds were visible everywhere, some areas severely infected. The animal still struggled to move. It hopped slowly, one step at a time, but with each landing, its feet sank deeply into the thick snow. Not far away, a red rescue helicopter patrolled the sky. The flight crew surveyed the area with monitoring equipment. Through the images transmitted to the cockpit, they quickly realized the kangaroo showed signs of distress. The pilot adjusted the flight path and lowered the altitude to approach. The roar of the helicopter's engine broke the silence of the vast open space. The kangaroo raised its head and struggled to stand, but it was completely drained of strength. Its legs gave way, and its body fell heavily onto the snow. The helicopter touched down in an open area. The cabin door opened, and 3 rescuers exited. Wearing red protective gear and with specialized equipment slung over their shoulders, they moved toward the animal. Some of the parasites infesting the kangaroo's body had burrowed deep into its flesh, causing the wounds to continue weeping pus. When the animal moved slightly, a few parasites fell onto the snow, revealing areas of severely damaged skin. A layer of pale yellow mucus drooled from its mouth, sticking to its dirty fur. Continuing their approach, the rescue team prepared medical equipment to examine the animal before initiating the rescue. From a snow-covered trail, a rescue vehicle approached. A man in an orange protective suit opened a bag and rechecked the medical instruments and specialized equipment. Another man held firmly onto ropes, ensuring everything was ready. The 2 rescuers quickly moved toward the kangaroo. It stirred slightly, its legs attempting to resist, but it was no longer strong enough to escape. The 2 men continued to approach, maintaining a safe distance while seeking to stabilize the animal before proceeding with the rescue. The snowstorm continued around the rescue team. They moved carefully, holding tightly to the ropes, each person coordinating with the others to carry out their task. Some of them exchanged brief words, confirming the plan before starting their work. One rescuer knelt down and used a specialized rope to secure the animal. The loops of rope were tightened firmly, but without causing pain, helping to control any sudden movements. Another rescuer carefully secured a strong chain, providing additional restraint for the animal's safe transport. They slowly lifted the kangaroo and placed it on a rescue stretcher. When its body touched the stretcher, the parasites on its back became visibly active, crawling and wriggling within its fur. Others clung on even more tightly, unwilling to detach from their host. A rescuer wearing protective gloves knelt down to observe more closely. He reached out and began the process of removing the parasites. His fingers worked their way into the fur, pulling each parasite from the animal's body. The kangaroo remained still, showing no signs of resistance. The 3 men worked together to move it to the ground, placing it in the area for further treatment. One rescuer pulled out a hose and adjusted the pressure, then began to spray water onto the animal's body. The strong stream of water washed away most of the dirt and parasites clinging to the surface of its fur. The kangaroo shivered slightly. Another rescuer used a device to measure its vital signs. The monitor displayed the health indicators. The animal's body temperature was low, and its heartbeat was weak. The rescue team quickly conferred and decided on the next course of action. A rescuer, wearing thick gloves, knelt down near the kangaroo's front legs. He used his hands to remove each parasite clinging around the leg joints. Another rescuer used a stiff brush to scrub vigorously at the stubborn patches. Another rescuer continued cleaning the fur, using a specialized metal tool to extract parasites embedded deep under the skin. He continued using the metal tool to break up the parasite egg clusters on the kangaroo's back. The thick patches of parasites were scraped away, revealing the rough skin underneath. After removing most of the parasites, another rescuer prepared an injection. He checked the dosage, then gently injected the medication deep into the kangaroo's skin. The rescuers continued working. They coordinated their efforts, meticulously treating each affected area to ensure the animal was fully cared for before the rescue was completed. The parasite samples, after being removed, were placed in glass vials. Some of the parasites, which resembled small bees, were still moving slightly when removed. The personnel carefully sealed the vials, noted the information, and prepared them for analysis in the lab. After completely removing the parasites, a rescuer prepared an IV bag. He hung the IV bag on a temporary stand, checked the tubing, and then carefully inserted the needle into the animal's vein. Time passed and the rescuers continued working. They re-examined each area of clean skin and treated the open wounds with antiseptic. A layer of medicated ointment was applied to help the skin heal. The deeper wounds were carefully bandaged to prevent further infection. Another rescuer knelt down to check the vital signs one last time. The animal's heart rate had stabilized, and its body temperature began to rise slightly. It remained still, its breathing more regular than before. After completing those treatment steps, it's a cooked fish dish. Meanwhile, the other staff members began to clean up the equipment. They dismantled the used equipment, gathered the medical supplies, and checked the list of collected specimens. One staff member bent down to check the kangaroo one last time. He took a thick blanket and gently covered the animal's body to keep it warm. It was much cleaner now. The parasites that had once clung tightly to it were now scattered on the snow-covered ground. After finishing, the rescue workers gradually moved towards the helicopter. They climbed aboard, closed the door, and prepared to take off and leave the area. The helicopter's engine started. The kangaroo remained standing there, its eyes following in the direction the helicopter had just flown. A moment later, it gently lifted its foot and walked slowly across the thick snow.